Rome, summer 100 BC. The southern borderlands of East Rome. Decimus Aemilius Lepidus has been given the premature command over the borderlands. All other troops in East Rome are to gather in Carcathiocerta. Many cohorts finally arrive in the borderlands from the south under the leadership of local generals, father and son. Decimus and Tiberius Lepidus attack the city of Arbela and have devised a plan for the logistics and supply of the troops. The allied Persian general Marmicus from Carcathiocerta assists them. After Tiberius Lepidus has taught the Persians fear and terror in the vanguard, the legionaries were able to gather in front of the fortress of Arbela. The siege is in full swing, and an attack can occur at any time. Tiberius has fought hard, and his army and cohorts are heavily worn out. Now it's Decimus' turn. Tiberius withdraws with his troops from the battlefield and meets with Marmicus. He comes with numerous troops as reinforcements. An enemy force of scattered Persian troops has appeared in front of Arbela on the other side, led by an unknown Seleucid general. What he doesn't see are the Roman assassins. The Roman assassins, known as assassini or percussors, murderers or slayers, were considered extremely skilled and effective. They were recruited by highly specialized units within the Roman army or by private contractors. The Roman assassins used a variety of techniques to achieve their goals. Poisoning. The use of poison was a common method of the Roman assassins. They were adept at producing and applying various poisons, often mixed into food or drinks to kill their victims. Dagger or sword attacks. Roman assassins were also well trained in close combat and could eliminate their targets with a targeted dagger or sword attack. They could strike quickly and silently and then withdraw inconspicuously from the scene. Disguise and camouflage. Roman assassins were masters of disguise and camouflage. They could pass themselves off as inconspicuous individuals, servants, or household members to get close to their victims and remain undetected. Infiltration and sabotage. Roman assassins were able to sneak unnoticed into the houses or buildings of their targets and carry out acts of sabotage. For example, they could set traps to kill their victims or damage important structures to cause confusion or chaos. It is important to note that information about Roman assassins is limited, and many details about their techniques and abilities have been lost over time. But one thing is clear, they are true ninjas. Kijaj. The Roman assassins infiltrate enemy ranks. In their camps, they sneak through muddy paths at night and assassinate those around them. Others rise through military ranks just to get close to Persian generals, while some throw stones from a distance, aiming for the head, and disappear into the forests. The siege of Arbela proves to be a nightmare for the Persian leader Dakiarchos Eusebius and especially his deputy Apaturios Kyrenaeus. He was assassinated in his sleep by Publius the murderer. Publius the murderer often uses his infamous skilled courtesan to entangle his victims. Where others have failed, he succeeds. This courtesan adeptly uses sex espionage and lures Apaturios Kyrenaeus into a trap from which he never wakes up. The Roman spies are well trained, and their work is not yet finished. Their mission is to assassinate enemy nobles, and they are just getting started. Spies from all corners of the Persian Empire suddenly pour into Arbela. Disguised as Persian soldiers, they infiltrate the Persian ranks. Now it's time for the Persian leader Dakiarchos Eusebius to feel the heat. Meanwhile, Decimus Lepidus was finally able to overcome the gates of Arbela. After a long and hard siege, his siege towers were finally completed. Tiberius, a brilliant strategist, had managed to divert the attention of the enemy troops, giving them valuable time to storm the walls of Arbela. With an impressive army, Decimus marched to the city's main square, ready to hoist the Roman flag and proclaim the triumph of the Roman Empire. In the city, there were only a few remaining Persian fighters who had survived the devastating loss on the battlefield. The defeat they had suffered was crushing, and the survivors were intimidated and had taken a final defensive position. But Decimus rode triumphantly into the main square, accompanied by the cheering cries of the Roman soldiers. The city had fallen, and the citizens of Arbela had been freed from decades of Persian rule. Hail Rome echoed through the streets as the Roman flag waved in the wind. The citizens of Arbela celebrated their liberation and thanked the Roman soldiers for their bravery and determination. The arrival of the Roman troops marked the end of oppression and the prospect of a new era of freedom and security. The victory in Arbela was of great importance to the Roman Empire. It was a strategic step to solidify control over this region and further expand Roman dominance. Decimus Lepidus would be immortalized in the annals of history as a courageous commander who had defeated the enemy with determination and tactics. While the residents of Arbela rebuilt their destroyed homes and businesses, they also began to recognize the benefits of Roman rule. Roman infrastructure and the rule of law would now enter the city, offering the people a better future. The inhabitants of Arbela were grateful for their liberation and embraced Roman rule as a fresh start. Decimus Lepidus' triumph in Arbela was another milestone on the path of expanding the Roman Empire. With each conquered city, Rome's power and influence grew. Decimus Lepidus and his brave soldiers had once again shown the world that the Roman Empire was invincible. In the years following the capture of Arbela, the city would become a symbol of Roman victory over Persian dominance. The glory. Sextus Cornelius Arvina was one of the two experienced generals who accompanied the legendary Africanus on his advance from the southwest of Africa into the heartland of Persia. Africanus, a courageous leader, met a tragic end when he suffered a heart attack and was swallowed by quicksand along with his elephants. The desert claimed its toll. The two remaining generals fell into disagreement and parted ways. One of them headed south, while Sextus continued to advance into the heartland. However, he lacked motivation and orders. He spent years in the desert along the African coast. He was old and knew that there would be no triumph for him in Rome. His advance only took him as far as Petra without further orders. There, he settled down, established a few brothels, and lived a life of luxury and indulgence. But today, a ship has landed on the coast. It brings orders from Rome, personally from Marcus Gallicus Caesar. These are his final orders. Sextus is to capture the last Seleucid city in southern Persia, Ptolemy Theron. This will be his last journey, one final time. Sextus stared at the orders before him. A mixture of relief and concern washed over him. The prospect of one last mission filled him with a mix of excitement and resignation. He had spent so many years in the desert, enduring the heat, thirst, and loneliness. He had left his youth and ambition in those endless sand dunes. Now he would march into battle once more. He is old. There will be no triumph for him in Rome. He only made it to Petra. No motivation, no orders. New orders, personally from Marcus Gallicus Caesar. His final orders. He is to capture the last Seleucid city in southern Persia, Ptolemy Theron. This will be his last journey. One final time. He gathered his troops and prepared for the journey. The long years of inactivity had made his men restless, but they were still loyal. They were warriors who knew the taste of battle and longed for an opportunity to showcase their skills. Best regards, and don't forget to leave likes and subscribe. Thank you.